dreams, but how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kate Boccia, and I'm here to tell you a story, my son's story and my family's story. This story began about 3 years ago, and because of what transpired in our lives, I started a group called HOPE. It's a parents' initiative, and it's helping to open people's eyes, and that's what I hope to do for you today. My son is 23 years old. He's currently serving 15 years in Georgia State Prison for armed robbery. My son's a heroin addict. Now, the armed robbery charges and all that will be another video, but right now I want to talk about what we went through prior to his arrest and during that time period before his conviction, and how he spiraled out of control and nearly derailed our family. HOPE was formed because we had no help. We wanted to stand in our cul-de-sac and scream, "Somebody please help me." There's no place to go. Tried talking to many, many people, and that journey was exhausting. So what I've decided was to implement some solutions and not just talk about it any further. So my name is Kate, and here's some hope. First things I realized, and very quickly, and other parents of addicts will agree, that what we're facing, what we're lacking are these areas right here. We're lacking education. When I talk about education, regarding our young children becoming addicts, committing suicide, overdosing, and being incarcerated, I'm talking about simple and effective solutions. Education and awareness. This is for parents, for business leaders, elected officials, clergy, educators, medical, media, and students. Education awareness programs need to be implemented in all areas of our communities. When I talk about acknowledgement, we need public safety announcements with messages of compassion and hope, so that families like mine understand that people do care about what's happening to us and do acknowledge what we're going through. Resources and recovery. Now, I've circled resources because this is our biggest lack that we have right now. But resources and recovery, this is a safe place for families to get reliable information and help in all the areas of prevention, education, addiction, suicide, mental health, criminal justice, and incarceration. It's not just a physical space, but also a click here tab of government agencies, websites, and other avenues. And we'll break this down a little bit further in a minute. Rehabilitation and reentry. Now, we all know what that means. We discuss it for our prisons. But we need to have recovering addicts' ability to have rehabilitation and reentry. And these programs aren't working right now. And again, a parent will tell you that, or anybody who's got a loved one who's an addict will tell you that what's currently happening with rehabilitation and reentry regarding our addiction is not helping. So, how does it all look to me? When I broke this down from these areas, I realized my family needed this. We needed a center. We needed a place to go that was safe for us. We needed a place that involved our schools. We needed a place that involved our prisons. And we needed a place that involved our churches. These three areas are very dysfunctional, and I think everybody can agree with that. They're not working synergistically together in order to help. And when I talk about that, I think about we need to teach our children. We need to educate and create awareness of what takes place in our prisons and what can happen with poor choices. We need to engage our churches to be active with our prisons to help them, because 90% of inmates are addicts. We need to have our churches help our schools. These three areas need to work together. The other component to this, to me, are engaging our community leaders. And these are our local people that live right here in my backyard, that are leaders, that are celebrities, that are athletes, that everybody knows. They want to invite them to every gala in town. I want to invite them to be part of this solution. When I think about community leaders, again, I think of celebrities, and I think of athletes. Every town has these. I also think of young adults, young adult leaders. We need to be part of this solution. When I think about the schools, it's a simple area there. I think about the PTAs. how we engage them to help our teachers, our staff, our schools, and our coaches who have firsthand experience in how to help kids stay off of drugs and stay out of trouble. So we're engaging all of our areas now. We also need to address the medical community. They could be directly responsible for a lot of the issues we're facing with over-medicating and over-prescribing these opiates that are gatewaying our children to heroin. The medical community is well aware of this, and without engaging them in our solutions, we're never going to be able to solve the problems. Charitable organizations, they can come out of our community, our schools, but this is a very big component because they're everywhere. There's everywhere has people with a big heart that want to save children, that want to make programs and solutions. They're there, but we don't know how to get to them. That's hard to find. You can Google when you have a child that has a heroin addiction or an opiate addiction, Google, and all these crazy things pop up, and you don't know who to trust. We need reliable, trustworthy, charitable resources to be part of our center here. When I talk about prisons, they connect with this area, what I call the rehab and reentry. Without really strong programs for rehab and reentry, all we'll do is create criminals that are more dangerous and that leave and come back into their own communities and find more drugs and create more crime. Rehab and reentry works with not only the prisons, but with the schools, with the community leaders, with the churches and the charitable organizations. We all need to reach in the medical community to help with rehab and reentry. When I talk about elected officials, they need to take ownership of what's going on in their communities. They need to create awareness and acknowledge what's going on in their communities. They need to work very closely with prisons, with rehab and reentry, through legislative components, and through our STAT programs, which is another talk show we can get into later, but that is a government-funded program for addicts that are in the system. They're not criminals. So these areas all touch on what I think is the bigger picture here. When I talk about education and awareness, it's all here. Education and awareness. When I talk about acknowledgement, and when I talk about resources, and when I talk about rehabilitation and reentry, they all work together synergistically. So, what's in the center here? This is what's missing. And what this looks like to me are two areas. I call one, there's actually three. But we'll start with two. The safety net and the hub. So, when I look at these two areas, these look to me like a physical location. I know down the street from me now, I live in Alpharetta, Georgia, that the Humane Society was donated a building by some great person that's very philanthropic to help save puppies and kittens. I'd like to have those donated to help save our children. So they look like two physical buildings, perhaps attached at some point, but just to give you kind of an idea of how they look to me. These are physical buildings. Main Street, USA. The safety net, which is the first one, is right here, the safety net, is a welcome center for parents like me, or for the community in general. We'd have meeting rooms to carry on educational awareness programs, to help with Narcotics Anonymous or AA type meetings. We'd have on-site counselors to give us the resources that we need right there to help us answer those questions. And we'd have a spiritual and we'd have a nutritional area. And these address our spiritual, our churches, and our medical community. All this in one building. On top of that, we have an online presence. And that's a click here tab to help. That's the button that goes on every website, city, that goes on schools, that goes on the PTAs, the Girl Scouts, wherever, an online resource. Click here tab for help. When I talk about the hub as being another part of this missing link, this is for the young adults and the children, the kids. This is a no drug-free, alcohol-free, in a parent-free zone. This is a safe place. This is safe. It looks like a coffee house. It looks like a media plug-in, amazing connection zone. It looks like a place they could have an indoor trampoline center. Or it could have rock climbing walls, you name it. Meeting rooms as well need to be in here. Kids need meetings as well for spiritual, nutritional, and also on-site counseling. We also have a click here tab for our hub. And what that looks like is not just click here for resources and help, it's more click here because I don't need them because I've had all this given to me. Now I can click here and find out what clubs are in my community. Boys and girls clubs, fishing club, ski club, racquetball club. What events are going on in my community that I can participate in that are fun, that are healthy? What leadership areas can I participate in depending upon where I'm at in my age and my growth? And what local athletes will partner up with us and have a great time? So I think, again, if you look at the big picture, backing over to this circle, we add in this physical building, the safety net, the hub. Now we can engage all of these areas in one safe place for families to enter. And I'd like to talk about one other area when I talk about prisons. This is so dysfunctional, it's frightening. I know my son is in prison. We need to engage our elected officials, our charitable organizations, our churches, and our medical community, and our community leaders, everybody, to help our prisons. And we can actually have an RSTAT program that would work for addicts. We could help them have rehabilitation and reentry. We can give them the resources and the recovery that they need. We can acknowledge what's going on in here. And this would eliminate many of the reasons that they're in prisons if we had all of this put together. So the big picture is, it's not that big. The solutions are really very simple. The answers are very clear. You ask any parent what they need to help their families and help their children, they'll all tell you the same thing. So I'm Kate Bosch. You can check me out on kateboschpresents.com and for further information, or reach out to me if I can help you. And if you're a leader in your community and you want to bring this to where you live, I would love to help. Thank you.
You're lucky to be alive. You're born who you are. You change what you have to. You're born who you are. You can change if you have to. You're born who you are. You must change 'cause you want to.
That's a wrap.
It's time to focus on your dreams. Put them off so long, they're there but can't be seen. But how hard do you try? You're lucky to be alive.